Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the new cheaper Model Y, Tesla's latest canceled product, big changes to supercharging, and more, so let's get into it. And a special thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring a portion of this video. First up today, definitely one of the best parts about owning a Tesla, and now owning a lot of compatible EVs, is Tesla's supercharger network. The supercharger network is extremely reliable, and no matter what third-party testing you look at, it comes out on top by a long shot. Many customers' experience with third-party charging networks, especially in North America, is that chargers will be broken, or very slow, or just not reliable whatsoever, versus Tesla has a really great reliability. Rivian's charging network has also scored well as of late, but Tesla is making some new changes to the way that they price their supercharging. Tesla's charging account tweeted about the changes here, detailing how since 2016 they have favored kilowatt-hour-based pricing versus time-based pricing to ensure customers pay only for the energy used and there are no hidden session fees. For other networks, some of them will charge based on time, and it's not really fair because if it's charging slowly, you're getting charged for that. Then in 2017, Tesla added idle fees. These are to ensure that no one is taking up a charge stall if they are not actually charging there. Then in 2019, they added the 80% auto limit. At very busy stations, charging is automatically capped at 80% to reduce congestion, but if you need it can be overridden. In most cases, 80% will be fine for most users, and that last 20% of the battery takes significantly longer to charge, so this helps free up charging stations. In 2020, they introduced time-based pricing, which included off-peak and on-peak pricing to lower costs for off-peak users and then increase supercharger efficiency. And now this kind of pricing is the industry standard. In 2023, they added congestion fees, which were aimed to improve availability of superchargers, and they basically combined idle fees with other things. Now in 2025, they are piloting a live pricing system. Instead of on-peak and off-peak hours being based on averages, they will actually change and adapt based on real-time usage at each individual supercharger. Tesla is now testing real-time utilization-based pricing at 10 different sites to reflect the actual congestion while keeping prices visible and fixed per session. So when you pull into that charger, even if it gets busy after you have already been there, your pricing is not going to change. It's not adapting once you've already started charging, but it will be adapting throughout the day based on how congested that charger actually is. And this is to see if it can encourage people to charge at less busy chargers, thus spreading the load and making superchargers that much more available, and again, that much more affordable if you're seeking out that less busy charger. Tesla also says that superchargers in North America and Europe are 30% cheaper on average than their competitors, which maintain EV affordability over gas, and they're expected for 2025 to be their biggest year yet for new supercharger site openings. Some of that expansion, of course, is for their own demand, but then also for all of the other automakers that they're adding to this charging network. I'm very curious to see how this rollout goes. For now, they're only starting with 10 sites, but it seems like something that should be a good thing in the long run. Whenever Tesla does make a change to the supercharger network, though, it does affect a lot of people, so they do have to do everything slowly, which is why we see one automaker added at a time. What are your thoughts on this change, though? Is it something you think will help out, or is it something maybe you're just worried about with future supercharger prices? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, the new Tesla Model Y refresh finally has its lower rear-wheel drive spec. Tesla announced this on X and then posted it live on their website, saying, quote, "Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive now available in the US. Maximum range more affordable. 357-mile range, EPA estimate, $37,490, including federal tax credit." So when we go to Tesla's website, that base price without the tax credit is $44,990, which is exactly what this car cost, the rear-wheel drive trim, before they did the refresh. So this is really great to see the pricing staying consistent. It has that 357-mile range, a top speed of 125 miles per hour, and then a 5.4-second 0 to 60, which is actually quite an improvement over the previous rear-wheel drive Model Y. Previously, this was a 6.5-second 0 to 60, so they've actually improved it by 1.1 seconds with no extra cost. On top of that, the range has increased by 20 miles over the previous version, so overall this is a really great refresh here. 357 miles is a really great EPA range, and lately EPA ranges have actually been achieved by Tesla vehicles in the real world. So a lot of customers may actually see themselves getting 350 miles in a Model Y, which is absolutely great to see. Ryan Torres detailed that indeed the only changes to this car are to the range, acceleration, supercharging speed, price, and weight. So the big change that the old rear-wheel drive had was a little bit of a downgraded interior, especially when it came to the sound system. The sound system had a lot less speakers, no subwoofer, and was generally just nowhere near as good as what was available in the all-wheel drive version. In some sense, it was actually kind of worth the upgrade for some customers who really like a good sound system, because the rear-wheel drive sound system, even though this car was $45,000, was just really not that great. So here this includes 15 speakers and 1 subwoofer, and it really enables an incredible sound system in the Model Y. I'm personally very glad to see that they have included this in the base rear-wheel drive version, because before it was a little odd. You could get the best range Model Y, but you'd actually get a lot less features. Now you can actually get the best range Model Y with all of the best features that this car has. One thing he talked about there is that the supercharging speed is different, and that confused me at first, but he actually doesn't mean that it changed whatsoever. The speed is exactly the same, topping out at 250 kilowatts, but it's more efficient, thus you actually charge more miles per minute. It's definitely a confusing way to put that, but you're actually getting a better supercharger experience out of the rear-wheel drive car, just because it's more efficient and has more range out of the same exact battery pack. With 15 minutes of supercharging, they say in the all-wheel drive version, you get 169 miles. In the rear-wheel drive, you get 182 miles. And that's basically because the rear-wheel drive car is lighter. So this car is a very good deal. It's a big improvement over what was previously available at this exact price. It has 20 more miles of range. It has all of the upgrades that this car includes, like those power folding seats, cooled ventilated front seats, a rear screen, all of the build quality improvements, the improved suspension, and more at the same exact price. And this actually makes this a much more competitive car compared to the Model 3. The Model 3 rear-wheel drive today includes a number of downgrades, and this car, the Model Y rear-wheel drive, is only $2,500 more, and again includes those power reclining seats and a bunch of other things. And then it's only 6 miles less EPA range. One of the big downgrades in the Model 3 is the sound system, and Tesla says, quote, "It features 17 speakers including dual subwoofers and dual amplifiers for all-wheel drive and performance vehicles, and 9 speakers and a single amplifier for rear-wheel drive vehicles." Again, it's a very noticeable difference, so for $2,500 more, you get everything that this Model Y adds, and only 6 miles less range. It really seems like a great deal, and if customers are on the fence, I think this is absolutely worth upgrading to from a Model 3. But of course, right now, Tesla is running a 0% APR incentive on the Model 3, and for this new rear-wheel drive Model Y, they are not offering any sort of incentive. That 1.99% is only available on the upgraded all-wheel drive car, and you're looking at 5.49% for this new rear-wheel drive spec. So if you were planning to finance this car, you're not actually really saving money by going with the lower trim of the Model Y because of those interest rates. It's a little bit of a weird situation, but because this is the latest trim with the highest range, even though it's a lower price and their base trim, they know that some customers are going to be excited and going to want to order this anyway. So they're waiting to offer that incentive of 1.99% or whatever until they need to. And I think just waiting until later in the quarter is when that will happen. I think it's going to be available on all trims of the Model Y soon enough. Before we go any further, I want to talk a little bit about data security. I use a VPN daily to make sure my company's data is protected from malicious software when I'm online. There are a ton of other benefits too, like streaming content from other countries and finding deals when online shopping. That's where today's sponsor, Surfshark, comes in. Surfshark offers over 3,200 different servers and over 100 locations to cover all of your VPN needs. Once you set it up, you can then use it on an unlimited number of devices at no extra charge. They offer 24/7 help anytime via live chat, email, or social media, and you can try it absolutely risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. For added protection, they offer Surfshark Antivirus to secure everything on your device, from your files to your webcam. You'll have the peace of mind knowing no one is accessing your device when you're not using it, and you'll get alerts if any app or website attempts to access your webcam without your permission. It can prevent viruses and malware from disrupting up to 5 devices, and has regular updates to ensure you're getting the best security features. Those features are all customizable too. Exclude files, schedule scans to the minute, and select between full or quick scans easily with their intuitive design. Go to surfshark.com/Ryan Shaw or use code Ryan Shaw at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. But what's interesting about this Model Y is, again, it has all of those same features as the upgraded car. So the only difference you're getting is power and all-wheel drive. And this is a lot better than other countries for the Model Y, which have already been shipping a rear-wheel drive version. For instance, over in China, they sell a rear-wheel drive Model Y, but it's standard range with a 258-mile EPA estimated range when converted, and it comes in at about $36,000 US, again when converted. That has some downgrades like that 9-speaker audio system and no subwoofer. Similar situation over in Germany. The rear-wheel drive version is about $48,000 when converted. It's a standard range and then has a lower quality sound system. So the US long-range rear-wheel drive version of this car offers the best features, price, and everything when compared to this car coming out of Tesla's other factories. And it raises the question as to why. First, I think it might be because they really want people to buy this car, and they somewhat need to incentivize people to buy their cars in the United States right now. They're having some trouble in this department specifically, and they're already offering APR incentives on the brand new Model Y, and it has become available in inventory. But I think this could very much be in preparation for the stripped back, cheaper versions of this car coming soon. Tesla has said that this is coming within the first half of the year, and they've repeated that over the last couple earnings calls, so that means that's coming in about a month. A stripped back version of the Model Y would strip back things like the sound system. So maybe they are now defining the top end trims that come with the better battery pack, the long range versions of this car. Those are the trims that we see today, and they come long range, and they have all of the features that this car delivers. And then soon enough, we're going to see a standard range trim come, and that will actually come with a bunch of downgrades, like cheaper seats, reduced lighting inside, no upgraded sound system, no rear screen, and more. And that could further be an indication that these cars are coming to the United States first. Over in other countries, it makes sense for them to sell more of a standard range rear-wheel drive version of this car with downgrades, but in the United States, they're sticking with two different long-range options and then taking some lower trims from there. Maybe the United States is where we're going to see these cars come first. Again, it's a very interesting time to buy a Tesla because the Model Y is very exciting and new, and they just offered that 1.99% APR incentive, but again, it's not available on this newest trim that's cheaper. For many customers, this is the car that's going to make the most sense, but if they're planning to finance, it doesn't actually really save money compared to the all-wheel drive version. And soon enough, by waiting, they'll probably offer some sort of incentive once they've run out of demand for this car. But soon enough, more tariffs could cause Tesla to have to raise the price of these cars, and there have been more indications as of late that the administration plans to get rid of the $7,500 EV tax credit. So that could definitely raise the price of these cars for many customers that qualified for that tax credit as well. So it's one of those times where waiting seems like it makes a ton of sense, but at the same time, maybe it won't make sense for you. It's pretty much always impossible to time a Tesla purchase. In any case, I'm glad to see this new version of the Model Y. It brings a ton of value, and it doesn't really have many downgrades. Availability initially said 1 to 3 weeks, and now it looks a little further backed up, so they're definitely having some customers order these cars, but soon enough they'll probably be readily available. Next up today, the Cybertruck has had quite a tumultuous rollout. From its initial announcement event, it took them a long time to bring this car to fruition. Then it came with a massive price increase and a massive decrease in the range that it had promised. When it initially came to market, it was extremely popular, and now it seems like Tesla can't really sell these cars. Another thing that was interesting was this was their latest car with their latest tech, but it took them around a year before they could deliver full self-driving on this car. And then once they started selling the normal trim of this car without the Foundation series attached to it, they said that it came with basic autopilot. That was included in the configurator, and of course, many customers were expecting the same experience you get with any other Tesla, basic autopilot that does auto steer for you. However, that still has not arrived, and it looks like it may never actually arrive. Tesla has been notifying customers who bought a Cybertruck and did not have FSD, saying, quote, "As we improve our autopilot technology, our feature sets will change. Accordingly, auto steer will not be available for Cybertruck outside of full self-driving supervised. We encourage you to experience our latest version of full self-driving supervised to immerse yourself in the power of its innovation. As a thank you for being an early Cybertruck adopter, we are offering you a free 1-year trial of full self-driving supervised." So for many Tesla fans, they're going to say, well, you should have bought FSD anyway, it's incredible. Or they will say, look at this, a great gift from Tesla, a full free year of full self-driving. But for many customers, they bought the Cybertruck expecting they're going to have autopilot. Many customers don't actually want to get the full self-driving package, don't want to pay up for that. And this is definitely a bait and switch by Tesla. MKBHD always talks about the fact that you should never buy a piece of hardware with the promise of a future software update, because companies oftentimes will not follow through, and there seems to be no real recourse for that. This is one of those very big cases for the Cybertruck, because there are plenty of customers that bought this car and have been waiting for the normal autopilot, normal auto steer feature to arrive, and it's just simply not coming. For the next year, they're going to have access to full self-driving, which is great, and it's a better version of auto steer. But after that, they're just going to be without this feature that was included on the configurator for their Cybertruck. When you look at the Cybertruck purchase agreement, one of the line items was base autopilot, and now that feature is simply not arriving on these cars. I'm curious to see how they'll handle this because, yes, they're pushing into the future with their full self-driving technology, and it has been quite clear that autopilot is not their priority. However, they said that this was a feature included with these cars, and it's simply not now. I would say that in order to make this right, they need to give these customers full self-driving. I mean, maybe after this year trial, they can just give them another year trial and keep giving them trials till they sell their car or whatnot. But this is definitely a feature they were promised in writing on the actual configurator and purchase agreement for this vehicle. It's like if it said it comes with 20-inch wheels or the white interior, and your car actually did not come with that. That would be a problem. But on the other side of things for the Cybertruck is a feature that Tesla said was coming in the future, and they even took pre-orders for. This was a hardware feature to extend the range of the Cybertruck, and since this car didn't actually deliver on its promise of a 500-mile range, they said that this range extender, which would take up about a third of the bed, was going to do so. They took deposits for this $16,000 range extender, and then they kept pushing back when it was actually going to come to market. Now they are officially emailing these customers saying, quote, "Thank you for being a Cybertruck owner. We are no longer planning to sell the range extender for Cybertruck. As a result, we will be refunding your deposit in full. The amount will be returned to the original payment method used for the transaction. Thank you for your understanding, the Tesla team." Now, the first thing I'll say is I knew this would happen from day one. As soon as I saw that range extender from Tesla, I knew there was no way on earth they were actually going to ship that feature. It's just not the way Tesla does things. They don't want this range extender in the bed because it's no way in line with the aesthetic of what they normally ship. And then it just seemed kind of ridiculous and like a product that was only for a niche amount of customers. And Tesla never does something for the niche. They do something for the whole market, as simplified as they can. But even though I knew this was going to get canceled, it's still a pretty big deal, and I think a bigger deal than a lot of people think. There are plenty of customers out there who ordered a Cybertruck and went down the configurator, and of course already expected it to come with autopilot, and then also expected they'd be able to extend its range in the near future. Tesla had put a date for when they expected to actually make these and deliver these range extenders to customers. Many customers probably bought this and were expecting that in the near future they would be able to extend that range and maybe do some more realistic towing in the real world and go on longer road trips as a result and have them be easier. Now this isn't coming at all and they're stuck with their 320 to 340 mile truck. It will never get more range and Tesla will never actually bring this range extender to market. So it seems like they probably aren't bringing this to market because of lack of demand. But again, it's one of those things that they should just have not offered in the first place if they really had no plans to offer this. I'm not surprised at all, but it is a little disappointing to see because we'll never see a Cybertruck getting towards a range of 500 miles, at least until they release a more expensive version with a larger battery pack, and it doesn't seem that's going to happen anytime soon, especially with how the Cybertruck has been going as far as sales right now. There are all sorts of incentives and discounts to take the Cybertruck off of Tesla's hands, and it seems to just not be doing too great. The rear-wheel drive version is coming soon, but it has a lot of downgrades, so much to the point that people think it's really just there to get people to upgrade to the all-wheel drive version. That's coming in June though, so we'll have to see if that leads to more Cybertruck sales. Of course, I'm rooting for this truck because it's a really great product. It's just so much different than what Tesla originally announced, and they keep pulling features out of it. Next up today, in the latest version of the Tesla app, there are a lot of peeks at future features and a few new features arriving today. First is robotaxi functionality, and this is arriving somewhat behind the scenes in the app. Tesla has added more code to support the robotaxi network as a whole, and the UI is not accessible yet to non-employees, but they've added more functionality for a variety of robotaxi functions, like adjusting and confirming your pickup location, displaying your ETA, and managing your trip. It also seems the code name for the Cybercab is Alicorn, and this appears to come from a mythological creature that may be in line with the Cybertruck's doors. This also seems to confirm that the Robotaxi app won't be different than Tesla's app. It will be integrated within the Tesla app. But overall, a list of everything that is included here is very impressive to see, and it really gives us a peek at the Robotaxi and shows us they're absolutely working on this, intending for this to really come out next month. Features include adjusting and confirming pickup times, entering destinations, displaying real-time ETA, managing trip cancellations, facilitating passenger egress with live updates, access to vehicle controls, dispatching pickups, confirming pullover actions, and ride cancellation reasons. There also seem to be indications of a Robotaxi possibly with a safety driver with keys. It's not clear exactly what this is for, but we're seeing the features stack up within the Tesla app, just where people can't fully access yet. The next thing the Tesla app has added is that dynamic supercharger pricing that we detailed a lot more earlier, and then Smart Summon without holding the button seems to be on the way soon. Right now, when you use Tesla's Smart Summon feature, you have to hold the button the entire time, and as soon as you release, the car will stop exactly where it's at. That's a great safety feature, but now it seems that they're getting confident enough that Summon will work in all scenarios that you should be able to click Summon and it will take care of the rest. The app seems to indicate that Tesla is getting ready to release this improvement to actually Smart Summon. Now, live activities are a feature on phones where a widget on your home or lock screen will actually update live for you and give you updated information. Tesla has shown off the robotaxi concept in a number of videos, and live activities is supported within those videos, so that seems to be something that's coming soon as well. Then we've seen some more improvements to service as a whole. Tesla's app and software are always seeing a lot of updates, but these are particularly interesting since they're giving a peek at features that will be coming in the future. It seems the robotaxi will exist within Tesla's own app, and we may actually be able to get our hands on it come next month. Tesla has said by July they want any person that visits Austin to be able to summon a robotaxi. So we'll see how quickly this all goes and how well that rollout goes when Tesla initially launches this. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Over at Rivian, they just had their Q1 earnings and shareholder meeting, and they detailed a number of things, including their second quarter in a row getting gross profit. They had a gross profit of $206 million, and then because Rivian has achieved 2 quarters of gross profit, they're getting an additional $1 billion investment from VW, which will help them for future things like the R2. The R1S has become the best-selling SUV over $70,000 in California, which seems to be a clear sign that Rivian has brand appeal, and it's a positive for the upcoming R2. And then Rivian's charging network was recognized as having one of the best user experiences, up there with Tesla's supercharger network. At the same time as this, Rivian's CEO, RJ Scaringe, posted some new photos of R2 validation builds. Rivian is actively conducting validation builds of the R2 at their Normal, Illinois facility, which seems to be an advancement towards full-scale production, which is planned for 2026. Rivian already has hundreds of thousands of pre-orders for the R2, and it's shaping up to be what a lot of people are calling their Model 3 moment. That's what took Tesla from a niche automaker making just expensive cars like the Model S and X to making a lot of cars every year with the Model 3 and Y. Rivian is basically in that same position, making the R1T and R1S. They're great, but they're expensive, and soon this R2 will bring it into a $45,000 price tag. That's what they're aiming for, even with new tariffs coming in, and that will directly take on the Model Y in its price and functionality. The big difference is the R2 is that boxy SUV shape, which is very popular. It's just smaller than the R1S. Overall, I'm very excited to see that Rivian is progressing well on their profitability and that the R2 seems to be well on track. Validation builds is a great sign for volume production coming in 2026, and I can't wait to check out this vehicle. It's going to be a really great Model Y competitor, and I can't wait to see if they can truly achieve that price. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest huge discounts on Tesla vehicles, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.